Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Vecchione.
And I'm Greg Stone.
And we are the Macaroni Rascals. It's a great new podcast. Me, my friend Greg Stone, we riff, we talk Italian stuff, we talk comedy. We basically just have a good time. Greg?
Yeah, I think it's great, and you're great. I love you, and we'll do more.
I love you, and I love doing this podcast from the darkest corner of your apartment.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Macaroni Rascals. I'm your host, Greg Stone. With me, as always, my good man, co-host, Michael Vecchione. Say hi to the people, Mike.
Hi, Greg, and hi, rascals, other rascals who are out there rascaling around, getting into stuff that you shouldn't be getting into, because that's really what a rascal does. And we thank you guys for joining us every week, and we also thank you for subscribing so that we can buy more pasta ourselves.
Have you bought new pasta this week, Mike? Did you eat pasta this week?
I am always looking to invest in. It's my Bitcoin. That's how I like to do it. I invest in pasta, baby.
You know that's harder on the environment than actual Bitcoin.
Oh, here we go with the carbon footprint talk.
Goddamn right.
How about Dr. Fauci as a chiropractor? How about that?
Fusilini. What is that called? Why can't I get it? What's the
Fusilli?
Fusilli kills the rainforest.
Fusilini is the fascist version of it.
Fusilini is a little fascist noodle.
It's a fascist noodle. It's very oppressive.
Did I tell you about this real quick? Just a quick aside. Did I tell you about this new sketch? Am I right? I think this was two Macaroni Rascals. I'm mad I didn't bring it up on this. Oopsalini. He's Mussolini's brother who keeps slipping on banana peels.
I don't know how you let that out on this podcast. That's hilarious. Oopsalini.
Let's take over the whoa. Mr. Bean and the Mussolini family. Oopsalini. I'm gonna fucking film that.
They won't let him out on the balcony to speak because he'll fall down. Oopsalini.
He goes, okay, time to nuke him, and he hits the button, but the button, I don't know, it's for more Arby's. I don't know. I gotta come up with that part.
It's the button that flushes the toilet.
Yeah. Oopsalini.
What did I do?
Now that's funky fresh.
Well, that's the way to start off a podcast. That's the way to start the podcast off, Greg, with an idea that you should not be sharing at all with the public, that you should develop and turn into. I think that's a series.
Yeah, it's a 6-part HBO doc. Ready doc, they call them.
Ready doc. Oh, my God.
New sound effect, too.
We've gotten more hip-hop. We've gotten way more hip-hop.
That's when you say something fresh. Say something fresh.
Subway.
Oh, fresh Subway. Hilarious. Back on this. That was
Subway,
actually
Eat Fresh. That's Eat Fresh. I'm sorry.
Eat Fresh. Yeah.
We did a Jared from prison last episode. But this episode, I mean, that's a great idea. Oopsalini. I'm in Aruba. That's why we can't. For those of you going, why aren't you not at Greg's house? First of all, Greg doesn't let me in his house all the time. Sometimes I'll knock and buzz and he'll be like, not today, pal. So it just depends on how Greg's feeling. Greg has a family to protect. He's got to put food on the table. Greg says a lot of those phrases. For those of you who's a little behind the scenes, Greg says a lot of those phrases that I got to put food on that table, Michael. The Patreon. That's why I keep pushing the Patreon. Greg just kind of lays back and he goes, food on the table. I got a family to feed. I got a family in there. So he doesn't let me in all the time. I'm letting you know.
FOT.
I am in Aruba, so I had to fly.
How's Aruba going?
I take 6 vacations a year, Greg. Just 6. And I'll tell you what, it's very hard on me.
Are you doing Aruba Ray or are you just doing Aruba?
Doing Aruba Ray.
Oh, it would be nice if you just did Aruba, but next to Aruba Ray, but didn't do the show. You just kind of went and hung out with Ray, and we're like, "Oh man, can't go on. Enjoying it by myself." With the hand gan there.
I'm doing an alt room in a hut. What's that, Michael?
Is that Michael? I'm the only not Michael here. You talking to? Did Mike say something?
I thought Michael V. Suarez chimed in, and I didn't hear it, but it was you.
Oh no, I said yeah. You with the handgun, Katie Handgun,
Hannigan, Katie Slamigan. Because when I got here, she wasn't happy. No, she was already here. Her parents are here, and they're great. And so she was already here for a couple of days. I hung back in New York. I got off the road with Nate. I was with Nate in Cincinnati. Lexington, Kentucky,
Yeah.
Chicago, and Davenport, Iowa.
Are
Then
you
went back to
literally
Nashville.
plugging dates that you were already at?
I was already
You got to plug the dates in the
I'm letting
future.
people know that why I'm on Zoom and why I couldn't be live at your apartment, Greg.
Because I don't want you here. I told you that.
You probably wouldn't let me in.
No, I'm putting food on the table.
So I went there, and then I got home. Flew back from Nashville, and then I did the Patrice benefit last night, which was or 2 nights ago. That was a huge success. And then I flew here at 7 a.m.
Oh, that's cool. I did some big successful things too. I got a Grammy.
What did you do?
I got a Grammy.
You did a Grammy.
Yep, I did a Grammy. So you're not the only one who's cool, Mr. Patrice, Mr. Plug-in dates you already been on. I just sold out the Zany bars all over. There's 15 in Alabama. I was sold out run. Sold out. I Alone did my one-man show called I Alone.
What's it
This
called?
true story of live. I Alone. It's the true story of the band live. I reenacted. I do all the songs.
Can I slam you? It sounds to me like you're selling the copper.
Now that's fresh.
That's fresh. Pretty fresh.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying that because I came in and I wanted to let the fans know why we're not together, because I think people like us more together. And this Zoom stuff, they enjoy it, but they like us in the room when we can get in the room together, as they say in show business. We need to get in the room together, have a lunch.
You're saying all the same things my wife says, because I always try to Zoom. I just try to Zoom us in the apartment, and she's like, "They like us in the room together." I go, "Who's they?" And she's like, "Your son." I say, "Stay in the bedroom. That's where you belong."
Well, if you would take this podcast more seriously, Greg, and then just raise your son on Zoom, I think the fans would appreciate it.
Yeah, and if I subscribe to my own Patreon, then I'll see my own son. The Greg's Patreon, see his son. I do want to talk a little bit about this I Alone one-man show I've been working on, which is very much like Billy Joel. It's all the music of live. And I'm doing a full run in Alabama again next month. So come check it out. We cover all the hits from Throwing Copper and Dolphins Cry. And it's a great story. I don't want to spoil it, but I would say that a lot of people are giving it 4 stars.
I play Dolphins Cry after I bet the Dolphins and then lose because of the spread.
Yeah, the spread. You know what I like?
Was
cheese
that not
spread.
Fresh, Greg? That was pretty fresh.
That was fresh, and I forgot I had that button.
You forgot you had it for a second. Are you in your bedroom, Greg?
I'm in my bedroom. This is where love happens.
Wow. And
Not
you got
sex,
the bed,
love.
you got the bed turned down too.
What does turned down mean? Turned up, I know, is when you get wild.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Turn up. And turn down means open for you? Do people turn down a bed?
Turn down a bed.
You hear baby
Turn
crying?
it down. Turn it down.
Just turn it. Do someone do that? Say, turn down my bed, so they prepare you to get in it, so you don't have to open the sheets? Is that how rich some people are?
Sheets are
That's a real thing?
It's a real thing, Greg.
I can't tell if we're being sarcastic right now. I'm not in the room with you, so I can't feel your energy.
Because it's a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting that happened today when we woke up. There's no water.
In Aruba?
There's no water. There's no functioning water in the hotel. In the entire hotel. So I'm peeing on top of pee, on top of pee, on top of pee. And there's been no number 2s, thank God.
Can you just go in the pool?
I mean, we're gonna have to pretty soon. It's so great how civilization, like something small, like the water's out for a couple hours, it could devolve quickly into we're living like zoo animals.
Swim in your own piss if you got to. If you got to,
we'll do whatever it takes. But we went out to breakfast, Dutch pancakes. I'd recommend them, Dutch pancakes. It was basically I got the Italian Dutch pancake, which is basically a pizza.
What's a Dutch pancake?
It's just a gigantic flat pancake, but it actually eats like a pizza.
Oh, and you put sauce on it?
No, there's no sauce, but there was pepperoni, prosciutto. It was some kind of a cheese. I don't know. It wasn't provolone. It was something else. Gouda, whatever their cheese is over here. But this is a Dutch like colony. You've been here before, but
No, I've never been.
You never been here?
I've never been. I'm going to maybe you put the word in for me. I don't think I respect you.
I'm putting the word in for you. I have put the word in for you before, but I will put a word in again.
What word do you put in? You say Greg. Whoa, that looks good.
This is what I'm talking
yeah.
about. Yeah, this is unbelievable.
And you put pepperoni and shit in there?
Yeah, pepperoni. You put whatever you want, but the Italian
that looks delicious.
It's like I ate a farmer's omelet and then I ordered one of those just to sample it, and it came like that. And it's like, oh, I'll have a pizza on top of what I just ate. So
That's good. Can I tell you my meal? I got a new invention. So I always go to Zorba's and I get the gyro, right?
Yeah.
Or I'll get the gyro omelet, which is gyro meat, the standard gyro shit, and a side of tzatziki. So I tell the guy, I go, do me this. Throw the gyro omelet in a pita and the cheese and put tzatziki on it, and that'll be it. So I had pretty much what was on this was a egg cheese. It was a gyro. It was an omelet with gyro meat on a gyro pita, and it was one of the best things I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I said, you call that the Gregory now. And they said, we're not making this again for anybody, but that's fine. But that's my new meal. So
well,
you win, but
no, I don't win, Greg. You had a very valuable thing that you did too with your meal. You know what I mean? Like, it's always a thing where it's like, I tell you my breakfast and then you have to come up with a better breakfast that you had. It's like, no. I have something that's amazing. I have something that's really amazing. And it's like, and then then to top it off, you're the guy who goes, and then they named it after me when I left. And then, girls were trying to grab at my body parts and stuff and genitals on the way out. And I just said, no. People were throwing money at me. I'm like, Greg, come on. Like, I had a great breakfast and I was just sharing it with you. And it's like, no, I had a better breakfast. I had a better breakfast. And then they named it after me. It's like, come on,
I don't
Greg.
top
You're
you.
not that insecure, are you?
Just because you went on tour with Nate and I did my I Alone Nebraska live show sold out doesn't mean I'm just letting you know about my day and the great things I've done.
Can I open for you on the I Alone?
Yeah, but you also do but it has to be like a one-man show. It has to be like a one-man show. This is one man. This isn't stand-up.
You don't have
a one-man show based on.
You don't have a one-man show open for a one-man show, Greg.
Yeah, it's a smaller man. It's like a midget show. It's a dwarf, and then a larger man show. So you can do a smaller man show.
Well, I am shorter than you, so can I do my smaller one-man show to warm people up for your larger one-man show?
Yeah, you could do it. What would you want to do it based on?
I don't know. Who was Live's rival in the 90s?
Maybe Eve 6.
No, who was there were three in the band. It was a 3-person band in the
Hanson?
90s. No,
Give me
I'm not going to own up.
Let's do it. Let's figure this out.
Damn, it was
3 men, not the Beastie Boys, clearly, but I'm just getting them off the table. I'm just getting them off the table.
It was in that same time period, though.
Was it 3 Doors Down?
No,
it's not 3 men. It's 3 Doors. Puddle of Mud, Nickelback,
no.
Green Day, says Mike Suarez.
It was Green Day. Yes,
really?
Mike Suarez. Right, it was Green Day.
3 men in Green Day?
There's 3 guys in Green Day.
It's not because of climate change. We're not going to see a Green Day very soon. It's going to be all white days, snow days. Write that down.
Privilege. Listen, I don't know what the temperature is there, but it's in the 80s here. The sun was very hot on the way to breakfast.
Snowing out here.
Is it really?
Snow. Yeah, snowing out. Bad. Well, not so bad. It was Green Day? You can't do a Green Day smaller man show because Green Day is a bigger band.
No.
You'd have to headline.
Yeah. Green Day is what my one-man show is about.
Well, then I'm fucked. They've got way more hits.
I think we can go on tour together.
But then you have to close. Who's going to say, all right, come on, Green Day, who cares about you? Let's get to the show about the band live. No one cares about live.
I think I shouldn't do Green Day. I should do something else, something unrelated to bands, something to warm people up for live.
What Toad Wet's Brocket?
No, I should do mine because you're doing live. I should do mine totally recorded, pre-recorded,
zoomed.
I'll do a Zoom intro.
The way you're bathed in light. Anyway,
I do like the Dolphins. That song's pretty intense. The Dolphins Cry.
I love it. I love live. I don't care. They're kind of corny, but I love them.
Are they kind of corny?
I guess they're kind of corny. He says things that are kind of corny.
Well, it's kind of intense it's just kind of intense. The music's intense. And sometimes, Greg, you can't handle it, if I'm being honest.
Can you hear the dolphins cry? Yeah, that's the whole show, man. It's just a cover band, really. And in between, I make up stories about what they did. Anyway, do you want to move on to a second topic?
Let's move on to another topic, Greg. You're getting really good at this.
Well, you didn't do your homework.
I didn't do my homework. That's because we had a scheduling conflicto, which is the Italian version of conflict. And we had to get this out today. The fans demand it. So
you called me at 7 a.m. and said, "Are you ready to go now?" And I said, "Okay." It's currently 7:30 a.m.
We have
Aruba time.
We have a schedule that we have to meet, Greg.
I know.
It's not me who puts it out. It's the fans who demand it. They demand their macaroni and they demand their rascals at the same time.
They need their Sunday max.
They need their Sunday max. So they did a story about Dr. Fauci inside his home. He has a lot of pictures of himself, they said. And I have a picture of myself in my home also. So, but he also has bobblehead dolls. Would you ever have a bobblehead doll of yourself, Greg?
Yeah, I would try to make one. I'm trying to make a bobblehead of myself. So unless he made it by himself, he's not showing nearly the ego that I have. Yeah, I mean, if someone makes a bobblehead of you, you're buying it, right? You're buying it.
I'm buying it. I'm buying it. I'm selling it.
You're buying a bunch, signing them.
I don't care if I'm a doctor. They're trying to say that he has a huge ego. I don't think he does. Fauci.
They make a bobblehead of you. You're selling it on eBay for double the price. You get Fauci from Fauci. The official Fauci release. Yeah, and I'm going to add hair to it. I'm going to add like real hair to it and make it an exclusive.
Well, I think they should have the doll where it's like you open it up and there's like liquor inside. It's not a bobblehead. It's him, but you open it up and then you pour yourself some liquor or
vaccine in there. Sorry.
Yeah, the vaccine, a cure or something would be great.
It should be a limited run of each vaccine. Like all different, you get your Fauci bobblehead, there's all different types of vaccines. You don't know which one you're getting. It's like a mystery box. You pop his head off, you drink it. Oh, is that mumps rubella? No, that was the West Nile Hindu dots. Oh my God, that's what came out.
I think that it's great if these vaccines for different things were flavored. Do you think that would eliminate a lot of the controversy?
Flavored vaccines like orange soda?
Yeah, something flavored. So it could be like, oh, I don't want the vaccine, but I do love orange soda. I do love root beer flavor.
Yeah, or make them NFTs. People are going to want them. Tell them they're limited edition. Tell everybody that there aren't vaccines. Like, we only have 3 vaccines left. People will line up for it. You have to do it like PlayStation 5 has the right deal. They just keep telling people we can't make, we don't have any. 2 years has been out. We don't have any. Everyone wants one.
Right. And you have to act like you don't care either. It's like, we don't care. We don't have any. We don't need you. Once you say we don't need you, then everybody wants you more.
Only cool people get them. We only have 3 for Kanye West. He's getting all 3. I found one. If you sign up right now, you can get it. And you just tell people like, there's one, but we might throw it away. Come get it. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
The fact that people have them, nobody wants them. Same thing happened to Furbies.
Is that the same thing that happened to Furbies?
Yeah, because you couldn't get them, and then when you could get them, no one cared. No one wanted them anymore. Furbies was the hot toy in summer of '96.
Well, I think that's when women started growing hair in their armpits.
Women?
Yeah.
Started growing hair in their armpits?
Yeah, because the Furbies weren't available, so they just like, I can make these myself in my own armpits, and that's feminism. Feminism is that women can do it. They don't need men, Greg. Don't let me have to explain feminism to you here. Come on.
Imagine you ask your mom for a Furby, and she says, I couldn't get that one, but I got this one, and then opens her armpit, and there's 2 googly eyes on her hairy armpit.
That's unbelievable.
That's a disgusting present.
It's a disgusting present that's also very real and very now.
So what flavor would you get vaccine?
I don't know. I think that we could do them instead of a drink. We could do them also in vapes. A vape vaccine. Everybody's vaping. You have to take something that people like and they want. And then you can't pressure them into it. You have to, like what you said, make them come to you and be like, I don't care if you do it or not, but they're delicious and they're high priced. And then people will start doing it. And you get a free beanie cap that you can wear while you do it so that you look cool.
Yeah.
We're not using any kind of psychology on this thing. You know what I mean? And and for those of you out there listening, neither of us are doctors. Everybody has to say that now.
Right.
Like we think that people are doctors. Neither of us are doctors.
If we hadn't said that, people would have been, oh, this is the doctor show with Vecchione and Stone Zone. It's a doctor show.
That's what I do in my podcast. I go, can you take medical facts from the show? Yeah, you can, but we're not a medical show. That's how you get around.
We're just gunslingers.
We're just gunslingers.
Two guys, these ideas might work. Let me tell you this. 2 days ago, I got into a big argument with this kid I went to high school with about vaccines because he was just posting stuff that was like wildly wrong. People just like, I'm not like, no, whatever, but it's like wildly wrong. And so I was like, hey man,
what was one of them? Can I guess? It's like, if you get a tattoo, you're automatically vaccinated. Was that one of them?
No, but I think that's true to me.
Is it true?
It could be, dude. If you got a tattoo, it could be true.
If you get a tattoo of barbed wired ring around your arm, your bicep, if you're a man, that's vaccination.
That counts. That's warding off illness and women.
Counts, Greg.
Yeah, so he said some shit that was like something. So then I just started messaging him like, yeah, man, here's why this is all wrong. Next thing I know, it's 45 comments long. And I'm like, what am I doing at 3 o'clock in the morning? And then someone commented, which I thought was funny. Whoa, you know Greg Stone, which no one ever recognizes me.
And you were just, you know what my theory is? You were just hanging in there waiting for that. And it finally happened. And then you were like, yes.
Imagine if I was, this kid has like 6 Instagram followers. You know what I mean? Like maybe like 100 tops. You know what I mean? Like the people he knows. But imagine like, imagine you were just some kid you went to high school. All of a sudden you just see, Jim Gaffigan or Robin Williams fighting about the vaccine with your next door neighbor who has 3 followers. You're like, you know him? I know that's clearly not me, but it'd be so much funny if I was way more famous.
But it's great, Greg, because you're fighting the fights no one else has the will or the access to. You're fighting a guy with 3 followers. I like it. I like what you're doing.
Why is Heather Locklear fighting with my crazy next door neighbor? I don't know.
Hey, Greg, when you see a disabled person on the street, do you kick them when no one's around?
I kick them up
You're
the hill.
You're going to fight the fights that no one else wants to have.
Right. Kook sookers. I guess that's why celebrities don't argue with people. I'm sure they have, people they know when they were young. They're just.
You start every sentence online with, I'm not a doctor. Look, I'm not a doctor.
I'm barely a comedian. I should say that as a comedian. I'm not a comedian. But what do you think of this? And if they laugh, I go, well, that's pretty good for a normal guy.
You set the bar super low, Greg.
Dude, I swear to God. No joking aside, when I first started doing comedy, way far into it, I used to always go, this is my first set, so let's see how this goes. And people would automatically take their things down and you do well. I start doing that again.
That's a great strategy.
How's it redoing? This is my first set. Let's see how it goes. Anyway, yep.
That should be your new album. First time caller, long time listener. First time, long time.
First time caller, long time hauler, riding the 16-wheeler, baby. Spirit Airlines, Spirit Trucks. That's what sucks about riffing. My brain will grab the wrong one. I was trying to do a thing about the long haul truckers.
This guy couldn't keep
16 wheels on the floor with 20 wheels. How many wheels are on a 16-wheeler?
16. There you go.
We got it.
Well, I'm here with no water, Greg. So I know I'm in paradise, and I'm in a dark layer, but there's no water. So I think, I think we're gonna have to start washing clothes in the pool, and it's gonna break down pretty quick. But the flight was really long. A lot of like Russians on the flight. I felt like.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm. You don't know where they're going with what's going on in the Ukraine. So,
what's going on in the Ukraine?
Well, Russia might invade the Ukraine.
Who did?
Russia.
They invaded the Ukraine?
Might.
When? Oh, really? They're talking about it?
It can happen at any time. Our leadership, our president, is supposed to talk to Biden or talk to Putin. They're talking and stuff, but it's very real. It might happen.
That's a fresh take. Taking
That's
Ukraine.
a fresh take on if they invade it.
That's wild. Why would you advertise that? Why would you be like, hey, we might take them, we might not, feeling funky, might take the Ukraine?
Why wouldn't you just surprise attack them and be like, we've already attacked them. We're attacking them now as we speak. Actually, this conversation is a distraction. I use this conversation to distract you. We're attacking them right now.
Now.
So, yeah. Just so you know what's going on.
Just wanted to throw this out there. Might do a hostile takeover of Japan. What do you think? I don't know. Maybe not. We're on the fence. That's the craziest military strategy I've ever heard.
Well, it's like their forces have surrounded it or something. I don't know. Don't get your international news from me. I'm a ballpark guy. I like to ballpark it.
Yeah.
I think the troops have surrounded it. I'm not sure. I think they're surrounding it, and as we speak, and just kind of waiting for the word. But yeah, sneak attack would have been better. But Ukraine people are very tough, and Russian people are very tough. So that seems like a thing you wouldn't want to get in the middle of. Very tough warrior type people going at it. It's like, why don't you guys just, as long as this is nowhere near the coast of U.S., let's just let you have at it.
Yeah.
But the Russians are have a lot more people.
Yo, Putin's wild, huh?
Hey, you don't go shirtless on a horse if you're humble. That's what I've always said.
He just does stuff. They'll just like try to tank the American economy for no reason.
Yeah.
They just feel like,
they hate us. That not the Russian people. The Russian people probably are fine with us, but the government doesn't. They hate us.
Right, you hate us, but just leave us alone. Why don't we all just leave each other alone?
Well, no, because that's not how hate works, Greg. I'm sorry that you haven't been to your weekly hate group, but hate works like, and we're not going to leave you alone. We're going to do everything we can to take you down. They want the downfall of our country. You
know what? I hate a guy, and you want to hear a fresh take? Something I never told anybody? I got a plan. So this kid I hate, I'm not going to tell you who he was. I'm not going to tell you his name. Used to bully me in high school. I got his address. I'm not going to tell you how. I just sent him flowers from another woman. And let me tell you this. I have no idea what happened. Because he's blocked. I don't follow him on anything. He bullied me in high school. So one day, about a few years ago, I just sent him flowers from a woman named Becky, and no follow-up. He could have gotten a divorce. He could whatever. Who knows? But that's what you do when you hate people. You just send them flowers from other women.
Well, maybe it would have backfired if Becky was his sister. And his sister would just send him flowers, like whatever. And then he was like, oh, thank you, sis. And she was like, yeah, no problem. She just owned it.
Yeah.
and it made the relationship with his sister stronger.
Yeah, or I nailed the name, and then he found that girl. He goes, you really do love me? And she was like, I've always wanted to say. And then he became even happier.
Yes. It could have worked backwards, Greg.
Did you ever get bullied in high school? I had one bully in my life. One guy.
I wasn't bullied, but I had pretty low self-esteem naturally, I think. And I don't know why. There was no reason for it somewhat.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do. I try to do these. I do one of the affirmations I do. I know you're tired of me talking about affirmations.
I never will be. Stop it.
But extreme confidence affirmations. And they're kind of wild. They're like, you are powerful. You are powerful. You are a god. And it's like, wow, that's a little bit much. But you need to have extreme confidence affirmations if you have low self-esteem. You can't have regular confidence affirmations because you're looking for regular confidence. So if you have low self-esteem but extreme confidence affirmations, you'll even out at regular confidence. That's
real talk
behind it.
Real shit. I had crippling low self-esteem my whole life. I don't want to say a year or 2 years ago. I don't know really when it was. I just decided to no longer do it. Right. And I just, every time that thing came in, I just say, nope, not listening to that guy. Nope, not doing it.
Yeah.
And it changed. And now I still have a voice in my head that says maybe you're not good enough, but you can cure it just by not letting it happen, just by ignoring it or changing the documentary in your brain.
That's really true. You don't have to listen to the voice in your head. The voice in your head lies to you. And Seinfeld said that, actually. It's like he's got this thing. It's like you have to train your mind like you're training a dog.
Yeah.
Like what it is.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, it's like your mind is gonna like run. It's gonna go in all kinds of different directions and feed you this narrative that's not necessarily true. And the thing is, you don't believe that. You go, oh no, I don't want that. Just like what you were saying. It's like no, I don't want that. I want this. I want to think this way. This is the way I want to think. So it's instead of your mind telling you how to think, you're telling your mind what to think.
You are your mind too.
You are. No, you're not.
You're not.
Your mind is like you're not your brain. You're your mind though. Like it's like you can command your brain as to what to think about. You don't have to think about the things that just haphazardly come up.
He does your brain will do your bidding.
They say your mind is it's a great servant but a terrible master.
Wow. Well,
take that to your one-man show. Take that to your one-man show.
What's crazy is when my phone rings, that goes on the computer, and then everything it just shuts everything down.
Well, no, it should, because that might be a call saying that Calvin has robbed a bank. Calvin has, they give you updates. You're like, okay, let me know when it gets really bad. And then another text, Calvin has just pistol whipped a teller. Calvin is taking all the money from the bank. Calvin, it's like, and then you get there, you show up to the scene, and it's like heat where they're all coming out of the bank. And then there's a big gunfight on the street.
Do you hear him?
Yeah, there he is. Calvin Ooch.
Man, that's crazy. He's out there.
Wow.
This is what happens when you don't have a babysitter. You just gotta go do the podcast. He's fine. He'll cry. If I can hear him crying, I know he's alive.
Yeah, he's alive. He's breathing. He's kicking. He's contributing in his own way. I think he's doing a secret podcast for other babies who are listening.
That's the baby pod. Baby pod.
Baby pod. And it's bonus content. He doesn't even realize what he's doing is bonus content right now.
Oh boy.
Are you gonna send him to Catholic school?
No, why would I do that? I'm not paying for school.
All right.
I'll do the free school. I went to Catholic school for 1 year. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. They hated kids from public schools.
Yeah.
No one wanted to be my friend.
Right.
This one kid was my friend, and then everyone became friends with him. And in the middle of the day, he goes, "What'd you say to me?" And I went, "I didn't say anything." And they moved all the desks out of the way, and they're like, it was clearly planned. And he was like, "We're gonna fight," and he was like, "You're gonna fight me? Why are we fighting?" Because they all got to him, and he sold his soul. And I said, "Okay." And then I beat the shit out of him in front of everybody. And everybody got scared.
That's a great story.
That's the thing that, like, yeah, you're all Catholic school. I'm from the public school. We used to fight all the time. Like, I was like, "Hey, man, what the fuck?"
I love the setup where someone takes a big stand like that, and then they just get beat. They just get beat up. And it's funny that like you're talking to them as you're beating them up. Like, how is it now? How is it now?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being, I was crying. I was crying and beat the shit out of him.
Well, that's great if you're from a public school and he's from Catholic school and you're beating him. Like, where's your savior now? Where's your savior now?
Dude, all the kids, they were all like, "Fight, fight, fight." And then like I just threw them into the chalkboard, and everyone was like, "Oh boy." Like, it's like at this moment we realized we fucked up.
Right.
I was like bigger than it was like, "Whatever, get the fuck out of here, man. I have rage problems." And then they put me in another class for the rest of the day. So like I had to sit in a class by myself, but I was like, they all teamed up on me. What the fuck did I do?
Right.
And then my mom was like, no more Catholic school. Let me tell you how sad this shit is. I may have said this before. They hated us. They hated the whole school except my sister. Everyone loved my sister. My brother was in 6th grade. I was in 3rd grade. They divided the lunchroom by 1st to 3rd grade and then 3rd to 6th. And so there was a line down the laundry room, like down the middle of it, so they had to divide them. My brother had no friends. I had no friends. So we would just sit on the line next to each other. We couldn't cross the line. So we would just like that fucking, like Auschwitz, like the Jewish kid behind the fence. And we would just talk to each other like, "Yeah, these fucking people." My brother was like, "Who'd you fight today?" I'm like, "I fought Kevin." He's like, "I fought this girl." Like we would just be fighting people all day. It was horrible. I mean, it was great because, whatever, but it's fine.
Because you didn't fit in?
Yeah, because I was a public school piece of shit. I didn't know script. They were doing script already, and they were doing multiplying, and we didn't do that in public schools because public schools are wildly behind. So they thought they were like, he's retarded. They used to call me retarded. And I used to go, great. Next person to say it, I'm going to fucking kill him. You're going to see that too. That's threatening. Why am I telling you this?
Next person to say it, I'm gonna hurt him. I'm really,
yeah. I might can't do script, but y'all can't fight. So let's see.
It's really a great thing that they don't take that opportunity to be like you're in a Catholic school. What a great opportunity to take that situation and go, hey, this is not what the whole religion is actually about. Accepting someone who's different and being kind to them when it's not popular to be kind to them. That's actually the whole basis behind what we're doing here. But instead of doing that, they just like go, I don't know, like he doesn't know how to multiply. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't like address the larger. Isn't that what Catholic education is supposed to teach?
That was a huge lesson for me because I remember going there and being like, oh, like Catholic, these kids are all going to be nice. They're all going to be
right.
And none of them, they were all meaner people than the public school kids. I couldn't believe it. I went, what are we doing here? You have a whole 45 minutes a day where they teach you about morality. What would Jesus do? He wouldn't turn Kevin against Greg and get his ass kicked in front of the whole class. That's what he wouldn't do. He would turn the other cheek. He would not do this. It's wild.
It's wild. How were the school lunches?
Huh? What?
How were the school lunches?
Funny you should say that. They were better. The school lunch at the Catholic school was unbelievable. So I don't think they were in the same routine as the public schools. It's just like real food you'd have.
I don't know what the public schools are serving, but I saw a picture online recently. It just looks real bad. I mean, just put salt in a tray, basically, is what you're doing. Like grease and salt in a tray and be like, here you go. Like, who is this good for? Anybody.
Dude, third grade, I'm so sorry, man. All these memories are flooding back. None of them really. And I'm a happy guy. This didn't traumatize me. But I remember this girl I liked, and I wrote her a letter, and I went, hey, I like you. You're my girlfriend. I remember I dropped it. Someone dropped it off for her. I don't know. Someone dropped it off. But I remember her walking up, crumbled it in my face, and threw it at me.
Nice. They never tell those stories when there's a serial killer, you know?
Yeah.
Those always get somehow hidden, but it's like, you know, that's like the first step.
I also want to give little Greg props for being the most hated man in third grade and still going for the poon. Still, he literally knew everyone in that class hated me, but I was still like, I'm still going to shoot my shot. I'm still taking shots out here. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. That's amazing. I really wish I had that kind of confidence. I like the girl.
Stupid. Go ahead. Sorry.
I liked a girl too, and she rejected me, and I remember feeling ugly. I was like, I'm looking as these, because she liked my friend, and he was like, I remember like, I guess the girls I like don't like me.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember being just crushed. This is like in third grade.
Same grade. Third grade was hard for both of us.
I like this girl, and she's like, well, no, I like this guy. I like him. And then he liked her, and they dated. I mean, third grade dating, but still, it's like, it was when we were in the same reading group, so I had to see it every day.
Oh,
it's like, can you just put me in a lower reading group? I mean, we were in the highest reading group, so I was like, put me in the lower level reading group. Something. This is terrible.
Well, I remember that.
And my reading book was called A Lizard to Start With. And that was the name of the reading book, A Lizard to Start With. Reading books had names back then, Greg.
Yeah. Man, but you say the thing about third grade being like third grade love, but that shit was real. I remember that, like, that was real. You used to talk to a girl, your whole body would get hot. You go, it's so scary. And then they would crush you like no woman would. They don't crush you like that anymore. They were ruthless. They were ruthless back then.
I think they were just speaking their truth, and their truth was not. But you don't realize that sometimes you're so centered on your mind, what you think it's going to be. Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, I love this girl. She's good looking, and then she talks to you like, oh, we're not on the same level. Like I'm not attracted to you at all.
Right.
And the first time that hits home, you go, I didn't even know that was a possibility until it hit. Then that hit, and I was like, ooh, this is terrible. This thing's terrible. But then you build up all these defense mechanisms now. So it's like, that's why you don't feel it now. It's like you have all these defense mechanisms, but it's so new and raw when it first happens.
I mean, I remember one of the first girls I dated I liked were because they just liked me and I didn't
Yeah.
like them.
Right.
So it's like, all right, I'll just take what's offered.
Right. That's what
I'll
I
take
did
table
too.
scraps.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
Um,
don't think it's good to call a person table scrap. But yeah, that was Betsy Table Scraps Wilson. That was her name. Her nickname.
Oh, leavings. It's old Jenny. What's left on the table? Let me tell you this, man. You might like this. This story. This was high school. I was in love with this girl. Asked her out a million times. She always said no. So then we just became friends. We became friends for like high school. We were just friends. And she was dating this kid, and the kid she was dating was one of my best friends, who I told him I liked her, and he went, "Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna date her." And then he just dated her, which was like, "You dick," you know. Anyway, they break up. She calls me, of course, as she, we would, and she calls me, and she was like, "Oh, we broke up. No guys like me. I'm blah blah blah. I'm never gonna meet a good person." And so then I tell her on the phone, I go, "Listen, I know a guy who's in love with you. He'd rather be your friend than risk telling you how he feels, because he'd rather just be around you because blah 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 blah, and your best friends." I give her the whole thing, the whole speech. She goes, Who is it?" And I went, "Come on, I can't tell you. I just want you to know that there's a lot of great people out there who really like you." And she was like, "You need to tell me." And I was like, "I can't." We hang up the phone. She calls me back immediately. She goes, "Greg, if it's you, nothing can happen between us unless you tell me it's you." And I went, "It's my friend Tom." And I just told her it was Tom. And she went, "What?" And then I told my friend Tom, and I go, "Hey, man, I just told her that you're in love with her." And he goes, "I would date her." It's like, are you missing the whole story? Well, man, I completely threw away that chance. She totally was like, "Just say it. And I was like, "Nope, I'm a coward, and I'll forever be a coward." And I continue to be her friend for the next 18 years.
I was just going to praise you for having the guts to ask girls out and then get shot down. Because I would take it, I was so sensitive that I would take it so personal when I would get shot down,
Of course.
that I was like, I never want to feel this again. And that's counterintuitive. It's the wrong thing to do. If I ever have a kid, I will tell him, you go in the opposite direction, and
Yeah.
you be respectful, but you don't just take what is offered to you. You go after what you want, and you be respectful, but you make sure that you take initiative.
Yeah, and if they don't want you, that's not your problem. That's their problem. I used to think it was my
Yeah,
problem. If a girl doesn't
right.
like me, it's because it's
That's my
me.
problem too.
That's her problem.
I would get very hurtful. I would get very hurt. And if you're a kid listening to this right now, and you're like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't," and you're in third grade, and you're just learning cursive, which they don't teach anymore, and you're having trouble with fractions, and then you have all these feelings, and you're like, "Oh, should I ask this girl out?" Yes, absolutely. What if she says no? Her loss. I know people say that, but that's really true. Her loss.
It is her loss. Your puzzle
So
pieces.
I got rejected, and then I went on to go be one of the top spellers in the whole school, Greg. I finished second in the spelling bee, both fourth and fifth grade, in the school-wide spelling bee. And you know what? She was probably, I didn't check in with her because at that point I was over it, but she was probably really regretful after she saw what a good speller I was.
Probably stumbling over there, and there still.
Oh my God, it was bad. You know?
Man.
But
That's great.
remember, we used to write the note. We used to write the note. Do you like me? And then check the boxes. Yes, I do like you. No, I don't like you. Or yes, I like you, but I already have a boyfriend, or I'm dating someone. So no. So you would do the boxes, but you would do reasons. Check yes, check no, check no, because I have a boyfriend.
Man.
And the girls who had mercy on you would go, "No, I have a boyfriend, but he just goes to another school." And they would just make something up so not to hurt your feelings. But the cold-blooded ones would just check no.
Or they'd write in, "No chance in hell, you fat fuck." I would have been fat back then, but she knew the future. "You eventually will be fat fuck." Yeah. Man, I'm still dating this girl. This girl, Casey Hands. We were dating in 6th grade. Never broke up. Just stopped talking to each other. Technically, we're still on the books. I kind of want to call her and be like, how's your kids? How's your husband? I don't know. I figured they'll think it's kind of fucked up that you decide to have a whole life without me.
Yeah, you're still dating. You guys are still an item.
Summer love.
Summer love.
Oh, man. I remember this girl showed up.
The note thing was key.
Yeah.
That took a lot of the sting out of the rejection because it's better to read it. I mean, actually, it's worse because it's like in a physical contract that the person it's a
documented
that the person is not attracted to you and you have a legal proof of it.
Should a public official stamp it? A notary public that says you're an ugly, that I'll never be with you.
You get it notarized. Yeah. Because I wasn't thin, but I wasn't fat. My friend called me husky.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "You're husky. You're a husky kid," and that's the way I would go about it. But we had in elementary, and elementary school's a weird time because we had field day where it's like you would test your, it was like a mini like Olympics day or something, and all the kids who were good athletes ran like the 50-yard dash or a relay of some sort, or the really strong kids did tug of war. But it's like the kids who had no athletic ability or talent, they did like the egg race. Like you run with an egg, you know, or it's like the sack race. It's like you're doing those kinds of activities. And once you get put, even I was smart enough to know back then, if you get put in one of those categories, it's like, oh, I don't have any athleticism.
Who's the first girl you ever liked that responded positively?
Responded positively.
Or liked you, like your first, like, oh, I like this girl, and it worked.
High school.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I got to high school. At 9th grade, I liked this girl, and I found out she liked me back. I was like, yes, it's Miller time, baby. That's what we used to say back then. It's Miller time. This is a light beer commercial, dog. Oh, actually, no, it was in middle school too. It was I had a girlfriend in middle school.
Well, I would argue I don't really care about the time as much as I do the story.
Okay. But chronologically, I'm going back in time, and I'm like 6th grade didn't work out for me.
That's why you need to tell me what happened.
7th grade, I liked a girl a lot. She liked me, I think, but I didn't have the guts to like break that awkward ice and go, hey, whatever. But when I was in 8th grade, and we moved back to Ohio, and I could walk to school. So I could walk back and forth to school. I could ride bikes with my friend. It was like much easier to get around than it was in Florida. So I was like close to school, could ride more freedom, way more freedom. So I had a girlfriend, lived up the street. She liked me. I liked her. It's nice when that finally clicks together. Yeah. When someone likes you and you like them. And it's like, yes, this is what I'm talking about, dog.
It's the best.
I'm feeling it.
Your chest lights up.
Yes.
I 8th grade is my first girl, Jen. I don't know. I'm giving her first name. I'm not giving her last name out. I don't know why I'm remembering this. All I remember is my first kiss. We went to her house. Her mom wasn't home yet. We kissed, and then she gave me. I remember it was a raspberry iced tea Snapple, and I kept the bottle. Left it in a box because I would always keep these like little things, these memory things, And my mom, they found it and just threw it out. And I was like, "You threw out the bottle? The bottle was garbage." I go, "It was the first breath of my first kiss." My mom was like, "My son is worse than gay." I don't know. We know it's back then they were rating gay, which is he's clearly kissing girls, but what he is so much worse, such more of a. Oh, they would have ejected him from society in
my son is
times.
A failed poet. Oh, the breath of my first. It's like, get out of here.
Oh God, my penis hurts just telling you that story. My penis runs.
I remember at the 8th grade dance, a girl wanted to dance with me, and I told her no.
Why?
I just didn't want to. Well, I didn't want to lead her on, but I think she liked me, and I didn't like her.
Yeah. She should have put it in a note.
Put it in the note.
Put it in the note.
Yeah.
Man. I remember, yeah. Dude, I love these old.
I love
old love stories.
I look back and I was like, I wish I would have had more I wish I would not even more confidence, but just more willingness to like take shots down the field. It's like you gotta admire the kids who are that young who realize it. It's like, oh, it's better to take shots down the field, even if you fail. You learn and you don't get negative. I would just get too negative on myself if I failed, and I would sabotage. It's like that's never the right answer. It's like you take shots down the field, and if you fail, you just like you don't take it that seriously. You go, all right, what can I learn from it? And then you just keep taking shots down the field. And the kids who did that, like the guys who did that, were amazing. Now most of them turned out to be like wild drug addicts or in prison because they just through life, you know. But that as a philosophy, if you can control it, but just like you just take shots down the field and take risks.
These are the guys who bet
risks, but like that's a main. I was just too conservative because I was too sensitive. I was too afraid of getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like I was real sensitive. So, and I think all comics are to a certain extent. Like we're all cut from kind of the same cloth, where it's like we're very sensitive people.
Yeah. Well, because and that's what I think sensitivity is also a big coming along that is inspecting a lot of things. You're sensitive because you overthink things.
Right.
And you overthink things, you inspect everything too far, whatever. Right. There was this kid I always had respect for in high school. His name was Flash. He was a big nerd, huge nerd. And people would try to shit on him, and he would just take it. Like, they were like, you're a nerd. He's like, yeah, but I'm the coolest nerd in town. Call me Flash. And he used to wear a shirt with a Flash symbol on it. And it was like, they couldn't beat him because he would own it, and he didn't give a fuck. And he was like, they called him Flash probably for some shitty reason, but he was like, yeah, I'll be Flash. And I was like, man, that kid is something. Like, he's completely original. Yeah. And he looked like Napoleon Dynamite, but man, like, he owned it. He owned it, and it was awesome. And I was like, I hope that kid knows that he was inspiring people all around him. Like, he was untouchable. He was a nerd who was walking amongst gods because he was. It was insane. I was like, man, this kid's the best.
It's the best. It's really the right thing to just own your. I have trouble doing it now. It's like own your vulnerabilities. If you just own them, you know what I mean?
Well, they're your armor. That's what makes you, especially in comedy. That's what makes you special. Your vulnerabilities, all of that is the thing that makes you different. Right. Everyone tries to fit in, but if you're fitting in, you're not a good comedian. Right. Or you're not even fun in life.
No, I mean, the whole thing about comedy, the whole thing about it's like being an outcast. It's like it's not supposed to be like a mainstream thing. You're supposed to be like, regardless of how you look. Like I look like a, whatever former athletic kind of guy, former jock. But it's like at some level we're all outcasts.
Right.
If you're any good,
What kind of outcast are you? Like you're an outcast from the former jocks.
Yeah, I was a guy who always had to like. I felt like I was always fighting for it, always had to work for it, always like, so it's like I had friends and everything, but I was never like I never felt cool, like the coolest guy or anything. I never felt that way. I never felt cool. So it's like always like having to work, having to try, having to, give 100% at all times. It's like that kind of thing.
Right. And that's the thing though. It's how you feel. Because what the reality is people didn't know, probably didn't care. People probably just like, Mike, he's great. We love him. Probably that was it.
People don't think about, that's the other thing. People don't think about you twice. Like you put all this thought into your image and like who you, like in high school, like who you think you are, whatever. It's like people are not thinking about you. People are thinking about themselves. You know what I mean? Dude, like karaoke is huge.
First of all, I want to say this, man. People think Japanese people love karaoke. It is not it's Asian people don't love karaoke. The question is, why doesn't the rest of the world know how awesome it is? Okay. Karaoke is amazing and they get it. Okay. So I see you trying to shit on karaoke. I won't hear it.
I have a joke that, could you get the sound ready?
Yep.
Karaoke is a Japanese word, which means let's go to another bar. You didn't do the.
No, not that one.
Greg, you got to go. We'll be right back.
Right. We'll be right back with more Japanese words with Mike Vecchione. He's go back to do more Japanese words. Yeah, man. I remember, dude. Oh man, I don't know. I love talking old school. Old school
stuff, but I don't remember. I don't remember a lot of it. I guess if I sat and focused on it, I could remember a lot of it. But I mean, the amount of feelings that I had and the intensity of the feelings, it was
Yeah.
like, I mean, I should have probably been medicated for the amount of feelings that I had and the because when I wrestled, like I would get pinned in front of an auditorium of
Oh,
people. That's human. I
oh
felt
my God. I
humiliated.
never thought about that.
Yeah, you would get pinned in. I mean, thank God it wasn't like on YouTube or anything, but it
Right.
was like still an auditorium full of people watching you get manhandled by another kid your own weight. So it's not like, oh, he's heavier than me. It's like, no, he's not. He's actually the same exact weight. We weigh them.
Oh,
We
wow.
weigh you right before you go on, so that there's no advantage and somebody just annihilating you.
But there had to have been some respect just for being a wrestler, right?
Yeah, there was respect that way. It's like, oh, this is a very hard. It's a very hard sport.
Because one
But
person has to win.
yeah, you think that, but it doesn't make the. I was very like it doesn't make the losses any better. You know what I mean? It's still a
Right.
shot to your ego. You know,
As soon as
everybody
as soon as you pins, you got to get him go. Today's my first day. It's my first day. Hey, it's just my first day. Just keep saying that. Today's my first day. Of course he won. Man, I used to have these little moments of seeing what the future would be like because I used to be not confident, shy, super shy. I was so shy growing up. But every now and again, I would have these moments where I came out of my shell. Remember, I was at this place, Skaters World, which was like it was a skaters rink that you'd go around, you'd go in circles, but then sometimes they'd set up ramps. And there was just some girl sitting, watching the skaters. And I rolled right up to her and I went, "What are you watching, your boyfriend?" And she went, "I don't have a boyfriend." And I went, "Really?" And I sat down next to her and we dated for like a little while. But like, I was never that guy. But I comedically just went, "So what are you watching, your boyfriend?" She goes, "I don't have one." And then I remember her name was Michelle. She lived in Glen Rock. We never kissed, though, because I was too young. Or
That's
like,
fantastic.
yeah.
That's fantastic. That's a great thing because I've had flashes of that too, where it's like I was shy. I was a shy kid, and
Yeah.
but sometimes I would just have that kind of a moment where I would just take a shot down the field. It
Yeah.
was like when I was young too, and before dating apps and all that stuff, but I was still pretty like in my 20s, and just like with or like in college, like 19 or whatever,
Mhm.
before I had a serious girlfriend. I had a serious girlfriend for years, but in college. But before that, I was like looking for a girlfriend between the time I was done wrestling and I was dating my girlfriend. I would just sometimes I would have flashes of that where I would just like take a wild shot and it would be refreshing because girls would be like, okay, this
Yeah.
guy's putting work in. Like they
Yeah.
recognize effort and they recognize creativity and they recognize the fact that it's like, oh, this guy takes a lot of guts for this guy to do this.
A lot
And
of
if
them are
you
also
come off as authentic and not like corny or like I'm the coolest guy. I'm not that way, so I never tried to come off that way. So when I would take the shot, I would just be like, "Hey, here's what it is. Let's have fun. Let's have good." And the times it worked, it was amazing.
a lot of times they're just as scared as we are, if not
Mhm.
more. So you just take control and they go, sometimes a woman just wants you to say, "We're going to McDonald's, we're going to Fridays, or we're going where," like they want to be led. You're not a good ever, but sometimes you just don't want don't give them the option. I know this sounds crazy, but you give them the option. But like sometimes just the confidence shows it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I can follow this. The alpha. Great.
Yeah, I was at the Comedy Cellar 2 months ago, and I was sitting. There's that back table, but I was sitting in the front near that window,
Yeah.
and the tables are very close together. So I overheard a couple in an argument about that very thing, where I just heard the woman go, "Why can't you just make a decision?" to the guy. He goes, "Why can't you just make a decision?" He goes, "I'm trying to figure out what you want to do." She goes, "Just make a choice and let's do it. Can you take some initiative and just
Wow.
make a decision? And that's what we'll do." She
Yeah.
was kind of like lecturing him, and he was kind of like, "I'm really trying to just lay out options for you." She goes, "I don't want that. I want you to
Yeah.
take control of the situation and make a decision."
That's what sometimes I always tell Tita. The one thing I want to not do is choose. Like let somebody else choose. But not with Tita, with my wife, I do with her all the time. Like she'll put she'll weigh the options out all the time and go, "Here's
Right.
why this is good and here's why this is bad." Blah blah blah. And then she can't pick, and I go, "We're going with that one." And I don't care if it's the wrong decision. It's a decision,
Yeah.
and we'll own that decision. And if it's
Right.
not right, it doesn't matter. But
Right.
most of the shit in the world, the decisions don't matter. Most of your decisions don't fucking matter. They're just
Yeah.
pick one and go.
Well, it's about what's behind the decision. Like, it's like that. It's like, no, we've evaluated the options. I have confidence that this is our best option with the facts that I have, and I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
And that decision for you was Calvin, right? Was that
No.
Calvin?
No, I mean, no. I mean, I always wanted a kid, and then she went, "You want to try?" And then we just tried, and he came. But
Yes.
he just came. It was crazy. I mean, but from a lot of times, it's kind of like, do you want Chinese or do you want to eat Greek? Well, I could do cheese.
Oh, I
And I
thought
want
we
the
were talking about your son.
No, he takes care of himself. He just kind of like he's fine. That thing's crazy. But a lot. I mean, we are doing like right now. We are having one of those actual arguments where Tito is trying to decide if she should go back to work or stay home for 3 months. If she stays home for 3 months, we kind of lose our insurance for 3 months. But she can. It's unpaid leave, so she's allowed to keep her job for 4 years. So they can't fire her, but she just won't get paid for 3 months. And so she's like, well, we could do this. We'll be down money. We'll have to pay out insurance. That's one option. The other option is I go back to work. Then I miss the kid. Then we have to get health care. Or childcare, do this. And I go, both of these decisions are pretty much equal. The reality is, so I said, you're taking off of work. You're doing it, and we'll figure it out. But that's the choice the man made. That's what it's like to be. Sometimes she's the man. But the man, the alpha. I'm the you just choose it. Just choose. So we're choosing.
And then if she does decide to stay home, you've got to kick up your merch sales.
And that brings us into, guys, sign up for Macaroni Rascals.
Guys, sign up for our merch. we just lead in with that. But no, that'd be great if you sold merch, and that was the way to you would sell Calvin's clothes that he outgrew.
I have to give them back. That's so silly, the system we have right now. I have to give them back to my sister. My sister just had a baby a year ago. So we have all his clothes. Now my sister's having another baby in April. So literally we took all her shit, held it. Calvin's wearing it. As soon as he grows out of it, her new baby's coming and we're getting it right back. I paid for almost nothing as far as 1-year-old clothes go so far.
That's the best.
Right. But childcare is crazy.
It's insane.
Childcare is like $1,000, $2,000 a month or something like that.
Childcare?
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's so expensive. It's so expensive that I'm like, this is not enough. I don't know how humans are doing this. This is impossible. This is crazy. But it is what it is. We'll figure it out.
I think you should have Calvin in a room. This is how you do childcare. Calvin in a room, and different podcasts come in and raise your kid. Hour to hour, they come in, and then it's like, Are You Garbage? Legion of Skanks, Us. You just have different, podcast groups come in.
Yeah, and then when he does weird shit, like, oh, that's from the Come Town episode that we did with my son. That was a wild thing.
It's wild. Mike, are we good?
Yes, we are.
All right. Greg, do you want to wrap it up somehow?
We'll
do a structured episode next time.
Sign up for the Patreon for Macaroni Rascals. Patreon.com/Macaroni Rascals. I've got some dates, if that's okay. If I can plug some dates real quick.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I'm starting to get back on the road now.
All right.
Well, this isn't the road, but February 23rd, I'll be running. Mike, want to talk about affirmations? Because of you, I'm doing this. November, I'm filming a special at the Cellar. We decide we're filming it in November. It will be one of the best comedy specials to ever be made. I am putting everything I got into making this the absolute best piece of work I can put out. This is going to prove what I am as a comedian. I'm going to put everything I can into making the jokes, the tightest I can make them, the funniest, the most Greg. In November, I'm going to record it. And so now I'm going on the road to just hustle for almost a year. Because I could probably, if I wanted to, record it in 3 months. I've definitely got the time, but I'm like, no, I'm really going to fucking kill this fucking thing. So the February 23rd, it's a Wednesday, 7 p.m. I'll be doing an hour at the Cellar. This will be the first attempt at running this hour that I've been working on. And then I'll be doing subsequent more hours at the Cellar. And I will be at City Steam in Connecticut. Oh, God. I don't know when. I want to say like I don't know. I'll let you know on Friday night, Greg. I'll put it on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll put all my dates up soon. Anyway.
Oh, so I got my Instagram back.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm back, baby. So yeah, got it back, and I'm full steam ahead now. And the hacker tried to reach out to me again and to be friends, and I had to block him. So
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Save that for the Patreon. I want to hear about that on the Patreon.
Nuts. Anyway, the date I want to plug is the next thing I have coming on headlining wise is I just booked it February 10th, 11th, and 12th at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut. February 10th, 11th, and 12th, the Stress Factory, Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you're in the Connecticut area, please come out. It'll be a great show.
That's great. That's fun. Those are great shows.
At Comic Mike V on all social media platforms, MikeVecchione.com for future dates. I got a bunch of headlining dates coming up, so please check out MikeVecchione.com for headlining dates. February 10th, 11th, and 12th, that's in the New York area, Bridgeport, Connecticut, the Stress Factory. Also, Mike Vecchione Investigates every week, wherever you get podcasts, wherever you listen to this one. Listen to Mike Vecchione Investigates. We have great guests coming on, and we're doing some great stuff on that podcast. Anything else, Greg?
Follow Mike V. Suarez on all things as well.
Follow Mike V. Suarez on all things. Mike V. Suarez is our producer. He kills it with the clips and with the general production of this podcast. We can't and we couldn't do it without him. So for Greg Stone, for Michael V. Suarez, I'm Mike Vecchione. We'll see you next week, Rascals.
The dinner's ready. What's the thing we sign out on?
The macaroni is ready.
The macaroni is ready.
Set the table.
Set the table. Good night.